Now this is another video in my series of why it's important to look poor. So to recap from last time, where I talked about the power of under-promising and over-delivering, where dressing to not impress, you can actually set the bar very low, and it'll be way easier to impress other people. I've also spoken about how it could be a form of asset protection for your hard-earned assets because nobody wants to sue a bum. And also just about how it could help you be more stress-free in your life. But the number one in this video is about financial freedom. So I'm not rich, by the way. If you've watched my last video, then you definitely understand that I'm super poor and not worth suing at all. So let's just get that out of the way first and foremost. But the key idea here is to make sure that you don't overspend in an effort to keep up with the latest trends, if there's no good reason for it. Now, if there's no good reasons for it, some of the reasons why you might feel compelled to anyway is because, let's say, all your friends do it, or your siblings or your family do it. If you're in school, then maybe it's all your classmates, they have the latest iPhone 16, or maybe they're all participating in the latest fads, so you feel that to stay with the crowd, you have to do all that too. Now, if you're an adult, maybe your neighbor or your best friend has a new 100-inch TV that they just bought, and you don't want to feel left out and you don't want to be outdone. And there's certainly good reasons to spend money. For example, if you're building a business, then you want to invest in that business to help it grow further so that you make more money. Or if you're a lawyer or in high sales, then you want to make sure you invest in luxury items and expensive suits to give off that image of wealth and success so clients are more likely to buy from you or to hire you for their cases. But if all you're doing is chasing trends because peers, movies, commercials, or pop culture tells you to, well, that doesn't really do much for you. And if it's at the expense of you having financial freedom and being stressed paycheck to paycheck, I don't think that's very worth it. So the biggest reason here to avoid looking too flashy is so you have more money to do what you actually really want to do. For example, if you like going to concerts more than you like going out to expensive restaurants, then you should go to concerts more. If you like traveling abroad more than you like having new 100-inch TVs each year, then you should buy fewer TVs and travel more. This section is all about using your money to do things that you most enjoy, rather than being shamed or coerced into spending your money on things that you don't really care about at all that much. Now, number two is going to be about reduced pressure and stress. If you've watched my videos before, then you may have heard this example before, but I'm going to carry on this example of how I drive an old car that has a lot of blemishes and nearly completely depreciated value. So it was pretty cheap the very first day that I got it, but it looked nearly perfect with no rust, no faded paint, and no dings or dents at all. But exactly that first day overnight, someone walked by or something and left a dent on it, and I was heartbroken. But now it's so messed up already from having it on the street and from age, I don't even care anymore. Someone smashes their door into mine while I'm away, well, it blends in. Some punk kid or adult throws something at my car and dings it, it blends in. There's a really nice, cool restaurant that my girlfriend and I want to try, but it's in a bad neighborhood, it blends in. And I live in a large metro area with a bunch of crime around and with tons of bad drivers. Those drivers who drive illegally or without insurance, ones that run red solid lights, and also runs from the cops. And frankly, just aren't very good drivers at all. So the chances of someone hit and running my parked car while I'm away is probably higher than if I lived in a better and safer area. But my car is barely worth anything right now, so it hurt a lot less than if I had just bought a new $50,000 SUV or a $100,000 supercar and all those things happened to it. And this applies to other things too that aren't car related. If you're not wildly wealthy, those designer clothes, if a thread gets caught in the washing machine, then while it's spinning, then that becomes a heartbreak. Nice new and white Jordans, when someone steps on it or messes it up, you're heartbroken. Fancy new Rolex gets scratched, heartbroken. So overall, it's just a simpler life this way. Number three here is so that you can avoid uncomfortable situations. Have you ever been the person in your friend or family group that's more successful and you're the one that everyone comes to for money? Well, these people probably have, given their responses. But it seems like a fairly common understanding that you may not necessarily want to brag to people, even ones close to you, that you have a lot of money. Or soon maybe they'll be asking you for some of that money. Now, the first few times, maybe it's okay and you don't really mind it all that much. But if it keeps happening and you keep getting asked for money, then eventually you're going to be the poor one and you'll be the one asking others for loans and for money. But it puts you in an uncomfortable situation to not help out your friend or your family. Let's say it's your mother or father, well, they raised you. Brother or sister, well, I thought blood was thicker than water. Best friend or close ones, how could you? So, keeping a low profile can actually help you avoid unwanted interactions and maintain your relationships. Now, some final notes that I have on this video is I'm not saying that you should look flat out broke every single time and all the time. Like, what would your first date think? And you don't have to hold that tightly onto those pennies, even at the cost of your own happiness. But not looking too flashy in the wrong situations could actually be pretty beneficial. Now that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.